was I read a review on a restaurant called Crew, and so I came down here, and that was the one that I really tried to get. When I started at Olana, I told them, I was like, listen, I'm going to work here as long as it takes me to get a job at Crew. And like 8 months later, I finally got a job there, and it just kind of worked out really well. And that, it's really kind of where my I kind of believe my experience kind of started in my schooling in the restaurant business, and in highly 3-star restaurants. So what I do in the kitchen is it's very from a very scientific point of view. There's a lot of cooks that are about having the freshest, farm fresh, farm to table ingredients. It's all about the flavor, rustic style. Me, it's more about what hydrocolloid works best in what situation to obtain a certain result. Being able to manipulate the food to form different textures, flavors, temperatures. And so that's really my specialty in the kitchen, and that's really, and currently, I work at Boulé, which is what I was brought in to do to kind of help evolve the cuisine, and to make it more of an avant-garde style, more of a molecular style, as far as, not to make that be the primary aspect, but just to slip in, under the radar aspects of food, and creative and artistic, and much more of an architectural way of going about it. Like the hardest part of your day is the beginning of it and setting up the mise en place, and all the things that you have to fabricate so that you can really set yourself up for success. Take for example, this dish I'm about to make. I've got everything, arranged and organized, and the things that I have so that I can make it, and it's not a discombobulation of just random ingredients and tools and things, because it's so fast paced, you just really can't operate like that. So here I have strawberry oil, which is just like strawberry powder, just combined with a pretty unobtrusive grapeseed oil. Just gonna use this kind of as a sauce. Have some Brussels sprout leaves, petals here that we're just gonna saute with some cocoa nibs to add, just to kind of some greenery, some veg. And then here's the cocoa nibs that we're gonna toss in with the Brussels sprouts. It's just a kind of an unrefined form of cocoa bean. It's like a kind of bitter chocolate taste, but it's really good. It has a great texture. These are just simple frozen peas I'm going to use. This is a beet powder that I make here. Dried melon powder that's going to accompany our compressed honeydew melon. We have our diced compressed melon, fresh basil, and parsley. We have our compressed honeydew melon ribbons. We have the fresh basil flowers from the garden. Here's our compressed honeydew melon ribbons. A ribbon, but it's just a honeydew melon that's been compressed under a vacuum to kind of get a different flavor by rupturing the cellular structure inside and getting all the enzymes to start having chemical reactions with themselves, which alters the flavor. In this scenario, it makes the melon taste more like melon. This is some fresh parsley that we're just going to season our dish with, that I picked from the garden, and along with some basil to go in with the peas for the dish. I have some sous vide skirt steak. If you can see here closely, you can actually see the individual layers of real fine dye, which is it's pretty much just an extruder that you just put in. How mashed potatoes work. You want to cook them tender, but you don't want to overcook them, because if you overcook them, your potatoes will be grainy. And then you want to keep them hot while you rice them so that the starch doesn't gelatinize on you. And if you really try to look at potatoes on more of a microscopic scale, you'll see that it's really not like a term that would more characterize it would be a gelatinized pudding almost. Like that's really what it is a gel. Mashed potatoes is really a gel because it has so many starch molecules and different types of thickeners. So if you have that in mind and know how things like that work and gels, you can understand and make a perfect mashed potato. And that's really what it's all about. Oh gosh, is execution and using science and knowledge to really perfect certain things. So what we've done here is we've added our dairy first. Attribute they need to have is just determination. You have to kind of be able to last it, and it's a huge mental game, and it's all about determination. Speed as well, but it's a passion what we do. So I'll do it right here. So this is the seared skirt steak, which this is very good because and cocoa nib. Peas. More organic, more artistic presentation. We have our skirt steak, our strawberry oil, pea puree, the peas, the Brussels with the cocoa nib, the melon with the melon powder, the beet powder, kind of give two different aspects of melon with this, melon with that, and then we have our palm puree with the fresh basil garnish as well. We're cooking all this out of my home, which is kind of like a R&D space for me. All these things that I'll read about or I'll see or I'll experience or just kind of come on my own. This is where I put in the work for the actual R&D concept of it, to get a working kind of prototype way of doing it, and then taking it with me. Or at my job, if somebody asks, hey Tyler, can we have we want to do it like this with certain guidelines, a hot gel that can stand up to this, but it's very palatable and liquefies in the mouth, then I'll come back and I'll start using different types of ingredients and try to achieve what they're looking for, their vision or my vision as well. But as you can, we have